Hello, I'm Jeff Yasteen, and today I'm reporting from Washington, D.C. on what could become the biggest financial story in history. A few weeks from now, a historic event will transform our money supply. It will bring sweeping changes to our entire lifestyle, indeed our entire financial civilization. As Yale economist Robert Shiller said, the economic revolution may be as profound as that wrought by our ancient ancestors' invention of coins. Over the next few minutes, you'll discover how a major disruption to our monetary system will directly impact nearly everything, from the politicians we elect to the coffee we drink, to how much we can buy, to where we shop. It'll even impact our families, our houses of worship, our lifestyles, and our retirement. I believe that this event, more than any stock market story, could prove the defining moment of our financial lives, bigger than the tech boom and bust, the bull market that followed, or the crisis of 2008. We've unearthed shocking intelligence buried deep inside the Federal Reserve in Washington, D.C., and it indicates exactly how this event will create an economic shockwave worth $663.3 trillion this year alone. In pure dollar terms, that eclipses the world market for stocks, $54 trillion, and oil, $3.2 trillion, and gold, $2.4 trillion, combined 10 times over. It will dwarf the whole American economy, $16 trillion, and even the world economy, which is $69.9 trillion, combined. The effects of this event will transform economic theory, the evening news, and CNBC. You will experience this event up close and personal. You'll see direct evidence whenever you go to the grocery store or the gas station or your favorite restaurant. When you pay a bill, move money around between accounts, or add to your 401k every time you buy and sell an investment. According to Fortune's Miguel Helft, what's in play? Millions of merchants, billions of transactions, and trillions of dollars in commerce. The stakes could not be higher for our investments and our families. And that's why I've created this special presentation. As I said earlier, my name is Jeff Yasteen. You may recognize me as the director of several nationally televised investigations into banking scandals, stock fraud, and corrupt politicians. Or perhaps you saw State of Repair, my expose on the federal government's failure to maintain our crumbling infrastructure. That one won me an Emmy Award nomination alongside 60 Minutes and Anderson Cooper. Today, I serve as Director of Research and Special Presentations here at the nation's leading investment think tank. Each day, more than 200,000 hedge funds, institutions, and individuals rely on our timely information. We've guided them through every major financial event of the past 23 years. The dot-com bust and the recovery, the demise of Merrill Lynch and the old Wall Street order, the rise of China, the crisis of 2008, and the surprise boom of 2009. I feel it's important to tell you that we went public with every major call, in some cases just days beforehand. But we've never seen an event quite like this one powerful enough to transform not just the markets, but also human civilization. On July 30th, 2013, the Federal Reserve will quietly launch an audacious new program. Combined with other forces, it will radically disrupt the supply of physical money, cash, and coins in America. Over the next few minutes, you'll discover all the details I'll present as evidence. You'll see exactly how this event will change our world over the next 12 to 18 months and beyond. In the early stages, we will see fresh waves of volatility rocking the markets. We'll see enormous boom and bust cycles. I believe we could experience civil unrest, including protests outside banks and possibly arrests on a grand scale. But this is not some doomsday scenario, not really. The event you're about to discover will bring crisis, but also historic opportunity. It will transform almost every industry, economy, and society. It could even spawn new branches of human endeavor that will lead us out of the current malaise. I've created this presentation to ensure that you and your family come out on the winning side. Along the way, you'll discover the simple 5-step plan we've developed for our high net worth readers. And it could mean the difference between losing almost all and doubling your wealth as events unfold.
You won't pay a dime for this research either. I'm on a mission to provide it to you for free, and here's why. Growing up in a small town in Florida, I learned the importance of financial stability at an early age. I lost my father when I was 12, and life in our little Rambler was never quite the same. I watched my mother get us through the storm. She did it with hard work and careful savings. She lifted herself up by the bootstraps and took care of business, and she would not accept the status of victim. Well, I carried that lesson with me, and I entered the world of adult life and financial research, and there I quickly discovered that the financial system chews up people, hardworking people like my parents every day, and I decided right then and there that I would make it my life's mission to level the playing field for investors. How? Well, by providing them with proprietary information that would allow them to not just survive, but thrive in all markets.
My research has led from the central banks of Europe, Latin America, and Asia to the stock markets of Mumbai. Now, the trail has doubled back on itself, and it ends here in Washington, D.C., site of the Federal Reserve Bank. Very soon, this will serve as ground zero for an event I'm calling the death of cash in America. It will revolutionize our monetary system and our daily lives in remarkable ways. After more than 200 years as the backbone of our economy, the trusted greenback dollar will lose its status around the world, but also right here in America. You won't hear about this ahead of time from CNBC or any other mainstream source. But if you have even $1 in your wallet or bank account, you need to know what's coming. It will be the most important story about money that we've seen in thousands of years. And here's what I mean. Since the dawn of mankind, more than 20,000 years ago, money has consisted of physical stuff. Stuff you can hold in your hand, stuff that you can count and store and smell. The first coins sprang into being along the shores of the Mediterranean around 786 BC. The Lydian stater coin was made of electrum, a natural mixture of gold and silver. Lydians could suddenly exchange this new universal currency for anything they wanted, and the effects were profound. Lydia's economy exploded. The new money accelerated this exchange of goods, services, and knowledge across the region. Coins then spread to ancient Greece by about 600 BC. And from Greece flowed the rise of Western civilization itself. But what does all this have to do with the event we're about to experience? For the first time since the invention of coins, our money supply will undergo a complete transformation. It will start here in America, bringing waves of disruption to our economy and our culture, but it will spread worldwide and quickly in 2013. The time to prepare is now, and here's why. Just days from now, our economy will begin a radical shift away from cash and toward an all-electronic money supply. The transition to a cashless economy has been a long time coming, and the moment has finally arrived. This is not a metaphor. I'm talking about the literal, physical death of the dollar. The American Institute for Economic Research reports that 93 out of every $100 already exist electronically and only electronically. That means 93% of our money supply has quietly transitioned out of cash and into ones and zeros on computers around the world. Money's transition from the physical to the digital world has entered a rapid state of acceleration. According to the Wall Street Journal, our supply of physical cash climbed 18% from 2009 to 2011. During that same period, the supply of digital dollars soared 2,915%, from $33 billion to nearly $1 trillion. That means for every one physical dollar the government creates, it creates 162 electronic dollars. Currency and coin as we know it is going to be disappearing, confirms Dr. Richard Rahn, Senior Fellow at the Conservative Discovery Institute. As Renew America's Wes Vernon writes in Newsmax, the issue is not whether a cashless society is coming, but how it will be administered and toward what ends. But here's the strange thing. While investors who fail to prepare could lose practically all, investors who know what's coming could get very rich. For clues about what to expect, consider what happened not long ago in Europe's most populous nation. In the summer of 1988, three of Germany's most powerful bankers gathered for a secret meeting in Hanover. They included former German Foreign Minister Hans-Dietrich Genscher, along with the French Finance Minister and the President of the European Commission. Their purpose was simple and revolutionary. They wanted to speed up commerce between European countries by introducing a new universal currency. In order to accomplish this, these central planners first had to eliminate the old cash-based systems. Finally, at midnight on January 1st, 1999, the three men got their way. At that moment, the newly created euro currency launched continent-wide. It spelled the end of some of the world's oldest cash-based monetary systems. But here's what most people don't realize. When they launched the euro, not a single bill or coin hit the economy. The euro launched as the first all-electronic currency. Governments issued a stern warning to all citizens. Turn in your cash by the deadline or else. In Germany, in Belgium, in France, in Holland, and Spain, panic erupted as citizens rushed to spend their cash on everything from bubble gum to houses before it expired. Now, the biggest shock came when the German mark, the symbol of Europe's economic strength, expired. The safest investment in Germany went to zero permanently at midnight on February 28, 2002. The death of cash devastated countless Europeans across the land. Europe's money supply remains in a suspended crisis thanks to this grand exercise and central planning. Starting days from now, we'll experience our own version of this disruptive event. We expect the big announcement to come from the Federal Reserve on or before July 30th, 2013.
I urge you to prepare right away. The death of cash in America isn't just on the horizon. For many people, it's already here. Consider this.
Last year, Madison, Wisconsin banned drivers from mailing in cash for any and all payments. If you're dropping off trash at the dump in Bridgewater, Massachusetts, don't bother bringing cash. As the sign says, absolutely no cash will be accepted. As of February 1st, 2012, the Maryland State Comptroller's Office outlawed all cash payments at branch offices statewide. But it gets worse. Thanks to State Bill RS 37, 1866, you can now be arrested in Louisiana for paying for secondhand items with cash. As the final version of this bill reads, a secondhand dealer shall not enter into any cash transactions in payment for the purchase of junk or used or secondhand property. The civic government of Discovery Bay, California has also voted to ban cash. As the Contra Costa Times reports, the Discovery Bay Community Services District Board voted this week to ban cash transactions for all services, including water bills and park reservations. Businesses, too, have joined the cashless craze. Washington, D.C.'s Snap Cafe no longer accepts cash for coffee or any other item on the menu. And stop in at the trendy Cafe Grumpy in New York City and enjoy a cappuccino, but don't bother with your wallet. This all-American eatery doesn't take cash either. But not only are local businesses banning cash, the biggest company in America, one of the biggest on earth, has gotten on board. During a recent iPad product launch, Apple quietly instituted a new policy. It would ban cash for all purchases of the new gadgets. The idea was to speed up purchases and enforce the company's limit of 2 units per customer. Luckily, cash users can always take their money to the bank, right? Well, not anymore. When even banks are turning away cash, I believe we're reaching a tipping point in this historic move away from physical money. Take a look. In early 2012, Lakeport, California resident Robert Somerton found himself humiliated, turned away, and detained by police. This hard-working firefighter's crime? Trying to use cash to pay the mortgage at his local Bank of America. And Somerton is not alone. Countless other Americans are showing up at banks, government offices, and businesses only to have their cash rejected. CBS Sunday Morning's report says it clearly. A cashless society is not only inevitable, but for most of us, it's already here. But these incidents represent the calm before the storm. Very soon, the Federal Reserve will make an historic move away from cash
and toward electronic money. It will accelerate the shift to a cashless America to light speed. Some investors will get killed and others will get very rich. So how will it unfold and what does it mean to us?
Our research into the 2,699-year history of money has revealed a distinct pattern. In almost all cases, major monetary shifts occur in three phases. Phase one is denial and disruption. The herd goes into denial about what's happening. They cling to that denial even as the new money begins disrupting and transforming the economy. Those who don't adapt get crushed or left behind. We're entering this phase now. As we've seen, our government is creating new electronic money 162 times faster than physical cash today. It has already fueled everything from the real estate bubble to the crash of 2008. But these were just the first warning signs. Phase two is profusion. The new money gains acceptance. People discover that it's easier to exchange, transport, and store. The government responds by exploding the money supply and government spending. The idea is simple. Fuel spending, spur economic growth, and increase government control of the economy. Phase three is acceleration. In the final stage, the new money accelerates the exchange of goods, services, and ideas throughout the economy. Over time, this also transforms the economy and civilization itself. Remember what happened when coins burst on the scene along the Mediterranean some 2,700 years ago? As Yale's Robert Schiller writes, the two benefits of electronic money stand out and will likely contribute to its growth. Most important, it will have profound intellectual benefits by creating incentives for the active pursuit of ideas. Second, electronic money will advance globalization, expanding the scope and versatility of the internet, making it easier for people to interact constructively with others around the world. Taken together, these two benefits will enable millions of minds to work together far more effectively than ever before. When you multiply such efficiency over billions of people and trillions of transactions, efficiency explodes. According to the British Financial Services Authority, electronic payments process in about 1/7 of 1 second, or about 130 milliseconds. The average cash transaction takes 33.7 seconds. Merely switching to electronic money can accelerate transaction times by 25,823%. That's why you can already see direct evidence of the death of cash almost everywhere you look. For example, you may already use MasterCard products, but the company just launched a new product called PayPass. You can download it on your smartphone right now. Next time you visit McDonald's, Home Depot, Best Buy, 7-Eleven, or thousands of other stores, leave your MasterCard in your wallet. Simply wave your phone over the scanner and voila. This new innovation is one reason MasterCard processes a new electronic payment every 130 milliseconds. That's about a third of the time it takes to blink your eye. Visa processes 150 million cashless payments a day, and the number is soaring. That's 80 billion per year. On Visa's busiest day, it handles over 200 million payments. Over the next 12 months, an estimated $6.3 trillion in purely electronic money will flow through VisaNet's system. As these international players expand their services worldwide, the death of cash in all currencies will follow. You can already see evidence of the coming shift from Europe to Africa, Asia to the Middle East, from big cities to rural villages. The death of cash will mark the first truly global monetary event of our lifetimes. Its impact will range far beyond our borders.
So what's happening here in the U.S.? Well, on July 30th, the Fed will deliver what I consider to be a shocking announcement, and it will trigger the final stages of the greatest event in financial history, the death of cash in America. I've confirmed everything with my sources at Treasury and at the Federal Reserve, and the time to prepare is now, because if you learn anything from walking the halls of power here in Washington, you know one thing: the Federal Reserve is on the tip of everyone's tongue. It has grown more powerful than ever before.
During the crisis of 2008, who was in the room with President Obama as events unfolded? Who strong-armed Bank of America into buying Merrill Lynch? Who pumped hundreds of billions in pure electronic cash into the economy without ever having to clear it with the president or Congress? Only one man has that kind of power now, and his name is Ben Bernanke, chairman of the Federal Reserve. With the shift away from physical money, Bernanke has found a new source of power, the digital printing press. He can now create as much new money as he wants with a few strokes on a computer. As Bernanke himself said in a report by the Wall Street Journal, the private banks have accounts with the Fed, much the same way that you have an account in a commercial bank. So to lend to a bank, we simply use the computer to mark up the size of the account that they have with the Fed. It's much more akin to printing money than it is to borrowing. As economist Harley Hahn writes, the Fed doesn't really have the money, the Fed just makes it up. After the financial crash of 2008, the Fed made up about $1.25 trillion on its computer. It pumped that electronic money into the banking system and received treasury bonds in return. Armed with cash, the banks could now lend out 10 times the amount of electronic money they received. Now, how is that possible? The Fed only requires banks to have $10 in their vault for every $100 they lend. With each new loan, new electronic money is created along with new debt. Can you see how this has helped to create cycles of boom and bust, everything from the tech wreck to the housing boom and bust to the crisis of 2008? The problem is there's very little that we can do about it. Thanks to the bizarre wording of the 1913 Federal Reserve Act, Mr. Bernanke operates without direct oversight from Congress or the president. He has assumed almost total control of the money printing in this country, using nothing more than a computer and a keyboard.
The death of cash marks an enormous change. I believe it amounts to a monetary coup d'etat. The Fed has seized almost total control of our money supply without any checks or balances. From here, it's free to pump hundreds of billions of dollars per year into any sector, business, or economy it wishes.
With the first two rounds of QE after the 2008 crisis, the Fed added more than $2.1 trillion to the electronic money supply.
But now Mr. Bernanke is preparing to do something unprecedented, even by his standards. He has vowed to begin printing 40 billion electronic dollars every 30 days without limits, no matter how long the program takes. And that's in addition to the Fed's standing policy of pumping $45 billion a month into the mortgage bond markets.
As the Financial Times reports, combined with its purchase of long-dated treasuries under the Operation Twist program, the Fed will be buying assets at a pace of $85 billion a month. Unlike previous programs, the Fed's third round of quantitative easing, nicknamed QE3, does not have a defined limit and will continue until the labor market improves. As Bernanke said when he announced the new program, there is not a specific number we have in mind. And since then, he has updated his stance. Now, Mr. Bernanke says he'll keep the electronic printing presses running full speed until unemployment reaches 6.5%. But at current rates, that could take years. Meanwhile, what's happening to our money supply? Well, the answer, the percentage of cash already in the single digits, is vanishing before our very eyes. The idea is to pump the economy back to life with pure electronic money, and I believe it will eventually work by creating the next great bubble.
On the surface, we will see all these electronic dollars driving stocks, real estate, and commodities through the roof. Vast fortunes will be made, but we'll also see gut-wrenching downturns followed by yet greater highs. As the Fed's master plan unfolds, our old cash-based economy will finally disappear. In its place, we'll see the rise of the cashless society.
According to our intelligence, the Fed will confirm this at its July 30th meeting in Washington, D.C. I believe the announcement will lead to huge new cycles of boom and eventually bust. We'll see raging bull markets followed by gut-wrenching bears. We'll see housing rebounds and housing swoons. We'll witness steeper hills and valleys across almost all markets than ever before. But long term, we could also see the creation of whole new areas of knowledge, new industries, new civilizations. We might even live to see the world's first trillionaire. The only question that remains is, how can you prepare now to protect your family and even profit as the shift unfolds? Here's everything you need to know. For starters, you need to understand what the Fed is doing with all that electronic money, and it is pumping trillions into the already bloated market for U.S. Treasuries. The false demand is creating an historic bubble, on the verge of collapse. If you have exposure to benchmark 10-year or longer-term bonds, I suggest getting out now. Shift your portfolio to shorter-term securities maturing in 1 to 5 years. When the bubble explodes, it will wipe out trillions of dollars in wealth, and you'll save yourself a 30% to 50% haircut. What's ironic and tragic is that so many individual investors have gotten sucked into the lie that treasuries are risk-free. But as with cash, they are sitting on a financial time bomb, and when it blows, it will take down millions of investors and probably some big Wall Street banks too. The cashless revolution will bring countless threats and challenges. A cashless world would mean the death of financial privacy. Governments and private corporations alike would have complete access to every transaction we make, where, who, and what was purchased. Inflation could run rampant as each new wave of electronic money undermines the last. We could see reverse bank runs, with customers storming banks trying to turn in their cash. Things will no doubt get very, very strange and quickly. In the coming days, we'll monitor these threats and advise our readers every step of the way, but more urgently, we've developed a simple 5-step plan that you can start using today. It will help you protect your family and profit handsomely as events unfold. Let's take a closer look at it now. Step number 1, secure your personal money supply with gold, the owner's manual. Of all the solutions to the problems we'll face from the death of money, one stands above all the rest. If you use this investment properly, it can protect you from market volatility, inflation, lack of privacy, confiscation of cash, and all the rest. I'm talking, of course, about gold. But here's the problem. I meet with hundreds of individual investors every year at conferences around the world, and I estimate that more than 85% of investors are going about gold investing all wrong. In fact, by owning gold for the wrong reasons and in the wrong amounts, you could be adding risk to your portfolio. That's why we've created our brand new investment guide called Gold, the Owner's Manual. This full-length manual outlines a precise plan for owning and profiting from gold. You'll discover our proven strategy for investing in the yellow metal. We'll show you precisely what percentage of your portfolio should be in gold for maximum safety and profits. And you'll discover the best gold investments to own now as the death of cash takes hold. This guide lays out a simple game plan. It will show you how to own gold, how much to hold, right down to our recommended investments. And I'd like to send you a copy of this blockbuster gold guide for free today. Step number 2, let the Fed fund your retirement. I've already shown you how the world's central banks are going wild, adding trillions in the electronic money supply. So the question is, what is the most direct way to safely collect some of that easy money for your own portfolio? Well, just follow the money. The Fed is using most of that money to buy treasuries and mortgage bonds, also called mortgage-backed securities. When the Fed creates artificial demand for mortgage bonds, it drives bond prices up, but interest rates down. It's working. The Fed is driving down interest rates to historic lows, and that's keeping rates low for home buyers. And profits are now exploding for a small niche market within the banking sector, mortgage lenders. Since these banks make their money on the spread between their borrowing rates and their customers, they're making an easy killing. With each new injection of Fed money, the lenders watch their spreads soar ever higher. That's leading to record profits and insane margins. Consider this. During the decade from 2000 to 2010, mortgage banks collected an average spread on their loans of about 0.5%. Today, that spread has more than tripled to 1.6%. And that is about to send shares of one mortgage lender through the roof. I must warn you, this is a tiny company and a speculation. It measures its market cap in the millions, and yet it stands first in line to collect from a money supply explosion worth trillions of dollars. The mere announcement of QE3 caused a double-digit spike in this company's stock. In the coming months, those gains will go much higher. This tiny firm has seen revenues from new loans soar in the last 12 months. Its overall loan portfolio has ballooned 187%, and income has rocketed 137%. Over just 9 months, it's had to double its team of mortgage processors. So the time to get in is now. That's why we've created another new research report called How to Profit from QE Infinity. I'd like to send you a copy of this report right away for free. But there's something else I'd like to send you too. It's the third step in the strategy we've developed to navigate the death of cash. Step number 3, ride the death of cash safely with silver streaming. Like gold, silver has served as real money for thousands of years. As our money supply transitions to the electronic world, owning silver will make even more sense. Now, silver also happens to be dirt cheap right now, even compared with gold. And it is proven capable of multiplying your money 3, 4, even 5 times over and quickly. From 2008 to 2011, for example, silver skyrocketed 448%. Over the past 5 years, it has doubled. According to Ned Davis Research, QE seems to bring out the best in silver. After the Fed announced QE1, silver jumped 69%. It rose nearly 82% after QE2 kicked in. But what most investment newsletters won't tell you about silver is this. All of this sky-high potential comes with a downside. Silver can be volatile. Frankly, you can lose your butt investing in silver if you don't know what you're doing. And that's why we've created another brand new report for members only. It's called 3 Safe Ways to Profit from the Coming Silver Boom. I think it's the best work we've done in silver in our 23-year history. Not only does it reveal how the silver markets really work, it also details the 3 safest, smartest ways to invest in silver now while still having the potential to double your money or more. One of them lets investors buy real silver for $4 per ounce instead of $30 per ounce. I'm not talking about silver coins or bullion or certificates. I'm not talking about risky prospecting or mines in the middle of nowhere. This company profits from silver in an ingenious new way. It's called silver streaming, and here's how it works. The company starts by making loans to miners. Of course, it will be loaning electronic money over electronic networks. In return for the money, the miner agrees to sell some of its silver back to the streamer for between $3 and $4 an ounce. By investing in the streamer, you can essentially own silver at an 85% discount. That gives you a margin of safety most investors will never see with silver investments. This is just one of the unique opportunities you'll discover in 3 ways to profit from the coming silver boom. I'll send you this report for free too. But there's another way you can profit from the death of cash. Step number 4, collect your share of billions of cashless payments. As the world's money supply leaves physical reality, it will require a whole new financial system. I'm talking about the vast global networks that will process trillions of annual cashless payments. Our research has pinpointed the 3 companies poised to cash in first. They're constructing electronic payment systems for the world's biggest retailers, businesses, and governments. If you haven't used their services directly or indirectly, you will, and soon. The next time you shop for groceries, clothes, cars, or even a new home, chances are one of these companies will process your payment. And every time they do, the company will take a percentage cut of the transaction. Over the course of a year, we'll be talking about trillions of transactions and billions in profits. And we've isolated one firm that will see its payment system installed in more than 1 million businesses worldwide by the end of 2013. According to our research, it's already sitting on a $500 million electronic cash war chest, and right now is the perfect time to get on board. That's why this company headlines another new report I'd like to send you today for free. It's called Cashing In on the Cashless Payments Revolution. Inside, you'll find our in-depth research on these companies and how even a tiny investment could turn into a $10,000 windfall or more. But there's one final step in our strategy for playing the death of cash. Step number 5, own the tiny company that could save American capitalism. As the money supply goes electronic, the criminals are following suit. Over the past 12 months, the National Security Agency estimates that internet-based financial attacks have cost $1 trillion. NSA Director General Keith Alexander says these attacks will usher in the greatest transfer of wealth in history. In 2012 alone, the electronic money attacks soared 7,757%, according to the security firm Prolexic. And that's why America's most powerful companies are about to dump a mountain of money on a tiny tech firm in California. It has perfected the ultimate weapon against internet-based financial attacks. According to our research, the company is cementing contracts with 499 of the Fortune 500 companies. We're talking about one tiny firm about to protect some $9.8 trillion in assets. That's measured in market cap. And our research shows that it's about to lock up an historic wave of new business. Capital One Financial, deal finalized. American Express, Citigroup, deal finalized. Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan Chase, deal finalized. In addition, the company is cementing contracts with every member of the Fortune 100. They include Apple with a market cap of $591 billion, ExxonMobil with a market cap of $406 billion, and IBM with a $226 billion market cap. Microsoft with a $253 billion market cap, and Chevron with a market cap of $220 billion, to name a few. Investors who get in before this tidal wave of cash hits could pocket windfall gains. And that's why we're putting the finishing touches on a brand new research report. It's called How to Profit from the Digital Defense Boom. It details the 3 best investments for playing this aspect of the shift, including the company prepared to secure the Fortune 500.
You can get this report and all the others I've mentioned as part of something we're calling the Death of Cash Survival Kit. I'd like to send you the entire kit today for free. All I ask in return is that you take our research for a test drive. Here's what I mean. Some 23 years ago, we founded Oxford Financial Publishing with a simple goal: to help our readers to protect their wealth and profit through all markets. Early on, we created a small circle of our very best subscribers, and I'm talking about the elite fund managers, the hedge fund gurus, and millionaires who profit from our research every day. We called it the Oxford Club.